responding to the first attack. They tried to contain it, but even then, even when it was small, it was already racing out of control. When everything fell apart, Des and a handful of adult survivors had bundled a couple of hundred kids into a convoy of school buses and lit out for Asheville, North Carolina, where there was a rumor of a safe zone. But they'd had to detour time and time again, losing days, then weeks, and finally months. Jammed roads, forest fires, destroyed bridges, washouts, floods, and massive swarms of the hungry dead had forced them to find alternate routes. And then there were the nuclear wastelands created when the military dropped bombs to try and contain the spread. Box, thought Des. All they'd accomplished was to kill the last of the living in those cities and turn them into more of the dead, except now they were radioactive zombies. It only reinforced Des's belief that humans were too goddamn stupid to survive. She lived this long because she was too mad at God to lay down and die. And because there was hope, thin and threadbare, but there. Now, this. Des knew where those soldiers had come from, knew as surely as if they had spoken to her with their dead voices. The Appomattox River Rescue Station was 20 miles up this road. Des didn't want to look at the skeletons of the 4 horses and 6 cows they'd used to pull the bus all these months. The animals had made it to within an easy day's walk of the rescue station, and then a swarm of the dead had come out of the woods. Des and Beale had fought them, but only for a while. They killed 36 of the dead, but as that day wore on, more than 200 zombies were drawn to the sound of gunfire. They didn't have enough bullets to win that kind of fight. The horses and cows all died. So, during a lull, Des and Beale dragged the corpses of the ones she killed over to the bus and did her best to stack them around the vehicle. Then they wrapped rags around their own mouths, used bunches of weeds as paintbrushes, and painted the sides of the bus with black, worm-infested blood of the zombies. They were careful not to get paint on their skin. It was horrible work. They abandoned it after a fresh wave of dead was stacked out of the woods. The presence of the rotting corpses and the stink from the tainted blood kept the fresh waves of dead away from the bus. Those creatures were not attracted to putrescence. They only hungered for warm, living flesh. Des kept her kids safe on the bus in the nights and days past with silent horror. They lived in that bus, stretching out their food, trying to ignore the stink of all those kids using buckets for toilets, endured, weeping silently, screaming into bunched-up jackets so as not to draw down death. In the darkest parts of the night, as wave after wave of zombies passed by, Des wondered, as she always did, about the other buses. Had any survived? If so, how many? Had Billy survived? Her on-again, off-again boyfriend, Billy Trout, had been in one of the other buses during the storm. She hadn't seen him in more than 5 months. 3 times, wandering refugees had told her about seeing groups of children walking with adults along the road, or about buses blackened by fire or splattered with blood. She had no idea if the refugees were mad or accurate, or if these were even the children from Stebbins. Everyone who was alive was fleeing, and a lot of people were headed to Asheville. If the safe zone there was even real. If any of it was real. The Appomattox River Rescue Station was supposed to be real, though. Too many people swore to it. There were signs, freshly painted all along this road. But now this. The National Guard station had been their only beacon of hope. It was supposed to be maintained by a strong unit of soldiers who had food, shelter, and medical care, and all of it under the